Hello, everybody. How are you doing today? My name is Tony Rizano, and this is another episode of the world famous, the Universal Love, the best podcast in 1, 2, 3 galaxies. But ladies and gentlemen, you and I, we just call the show Online Marketing Moves, and we are coming to you live today. It's a nice morning out. What are you up to? It is September the 1st, 2022. Ladies and gents, today we're going to talk about something very important. Today we are going to talk about, is attention the new currency in the marketing world? Ladies and gentlemen, before, let's just say, before back 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, there was not a lot of, we'll say 30 years ago. 30 years ago, 40 years ago, there was not as many people trying to be a walking, talking TED Talk. There was not a lot of people trying to be famous, infamous or whatever you want to call it, But these days, you got all the, from the travel bloggers, to the Instagram financial gurus, to the people, the men that are like, hey, be a man, get your manhood back. There's a lot of to the makeup tutorials, hair tutorial people. There's a lot of people online, in the marketing world. Everybody's a marketing expert, everybody's a life coach, and so it's harder to stand out. And so some people have taken the WWE route, which is create a character, act real crazy, and get as much attention as you can. And once they get your attention, then it's like, voila, it's time to sell you something, We can go on and on down the list, the greatest example of this is our former president, Donald J. Trump, okay? But he's been doing it for 40 years, and he's very crafty at it, He's the best at it, You can't beat one of the originals, So Donald Trump has been getting attention for forever. But you have people online now like I saw this guy, Andrew Tate. He was, I guess he just got banned from different social media platforms, and he was, getting attention, and he was selling some course for $50 about how to be how to be a man, how to be a man. That's ridiculous, but anyway. And then a friend of mine sent me this video once. This guy named Charleston White. He was talking about how he sues every job, and he's getting a lot of attention just because he attacks rappers. He attacks rappers if they get shot or if they die. He's like, well, one less person you got to worry about. Blah 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 blah. So he's getting a lot of attention. But he said it himself, and I watched some like 5-6 minute clip, and he said, I've created a character so I can get more attention, And you have people that, like you look at the Mr. Beast, he's a YouTube person, and he does all these like, hey, I'm gonna eat the biggest pizza, and that gets a lot of subscribers, Or you look at somebody, my mother-in-law was watching Family Feud one night, and it was Celebrity Family Feud, and some guy with blue hair came on. His name was Ninja. And I've never seen Ninja, never heard of Ninja before a day in my life. And I was talking to a friend of mine, and he said, oh yeah, Ninja, Fortnite. And then I said, Fortnite? And he said, yeah, guy blue hair. And that's all he said. And I was like, oh, Ninja. But I had to look him up. He had like 23 million subscribers on YouTube. And I'm like, well, I guess the blue hair is doing something, but attention from Kevin Samuels to all these other guys, to Lizzo. That's what I heard about Lizzo. Lizzo says she's oppressed. Oh man. That's a different rant. We'll have to go into that one of these days. The worst people, the celebrities, the people that are celebrities, the people that are on TV, they're the worst when it comes to race and equality and the whole, I'm oppressed and all this, I saw somebody say, Lizzo said she was on the MTV Awards, which if you watch that, God bless you. But she said, we have to change the voting laws. We have to change this oppression. And it's like, sweetie, you're worth $12 million. Like, are you that oppressed? You're walking around here, catching jets and whatnot, but you're oppressed. Okay. If you say so. But anyway, attention is the new currency, ladies and gentlemen. This is how these people roll, from, I remember Cardi B, she would beef with anybody on social media, that was attention, to anybody. Attention is the new currency. And I don't know, good thing, bad thing, indifferent, I don't know, that's up to you. Because people, unfortunately, love negativity. They say they don't. You have all these people. God, you have all these people that tell you, man, I'm positive vibes, positive this, positive that. But what's the first thing they want to see? A fight video. Before they watch anything about, God, anything about a positive message from a kid, a positive message from their peers, from somebody they know, before they do all that, they rather be on YouTube looking at the most negative things. What are some clickbait things that you know? If you're on YouTube and you say, hey, I took this course, I like this course, no, people are gonna put, is this course a scam? That's like one of the oldest tricks on YouTube now. Is this course a scam? 99% of the time, if they talk about this course is scam, not 99%, but I can't do the math, but I'm gonna say 50% of the time, if they say that, they're probably either an affiliate for it or not probably, but they are an affiliate for it. If you see an article and it says something about, is this a scam? Then 50% of the time they're an affiliate for the course. So be careful about that, because they will draw on and on, and then they'll say, well, click the link below if you want to sign up for the course. So it's annoying. That's an attention grabbing. People think those are attention grabbing headlines. So attention is the new currency, and people are trying to grab your attention as much as possible. I'm just gonna tell you like this. If I was you, because myself, I stay away from I used to watch these videos about people. They would say, this guy's a scammer, that guy's a scammer. Those are entertaining videos and everything. Don't get me wrong, but you got to focus on what you need to do to get to where you're going. You watching these stupid videos and people, I tell you, one of my biggest pet peeves now is, please do not take financial advice from people on Instagram. If they're pointing up, telling you, hey, you should always use a credit card. Get your kid a LLC, this, that, the other. Just go. You can just go to the library and get a book about the IRS. Now I see people that like, you want to get a corporation and all this other stuff. It's like, you gotta stay away from these attention hounds. You gotta do your own thing. There's plenty of ways that you can make money online. There's plenty of ways you can make money on your own. There's plenty of ways. Now, of course, we all know, hey man, a job ain't gonna make you rich. I know that, you know that, unless you're gonna be the CEO of Coke. And if you're the CEO of Coke, you ain't listening to this podcast. So, if a job is willing to pay you $1 million, then congratulations. You know, you don't have to worry about starting or creating a business. But for the rest of us, you know, there are, you know, you do want to stand out amongst the crowd. You do want to stand out, but you don't want to become a caricature of you know, you don't want to be one of these. You know, do you want to run a legit business, or do you just want to be a huckster? You know what I mean? Like, there's different roads you can go down. Now, if you want to be a character, a cartoon character, you know, there's a time limit on that, you know. And if you want to do that, get all the money you can immediately, okay, and cash out, because you will get either canceled or people will expose you. You know, I saw one guy who, you know, like these guys that sit in the back of limos, you know, and they just talk about business, but they don't never run a business. They sit in the back of these limos. Like, it was one guy, I forget his name, but another one I saw was a long time ago was Dan Locke. You know, Dan Locke, he was accused of, when I was watching the negative videos, he was accused of stealing people's material, you know, but everybody steals everybody's content on social media, unfortunately. It's just the way they just regurgitate, you know, everything they heard, you know. So it is what it is. But, you know, figure out different ways how you can get attention, you know. Sometimes you can get attention by just being normal, you know. Having an opinion will definitely get you some attention, you know. Have an opinion. Everything can't be positive vibes, you know. Everybody ain't gonna work out in business, you know. Some people, some ideas you have are gonna fail, and that's perfectly fine. Some ideas are gonna be home runs. It just, you have to figure it out. You have to flesh these things out, you know. I tried to start a couple things. They failed, you know. It is what it is, you know. I mean, you know, I'm still working on the podcast, you know. We still have hope that this becomes the biggest podcast on God's green earth, you know. So far, so good. It's the best in the universe, but it ain't the biggest in the universe, you know what I mean? So we got to get the best to match the biggest, and that's that. But I'm gonna have to do more. I'm gonna have to become a cartoon character. Nah, I'm just kidding. But you know, and that's the truth, man. You don't want to be, because you become a persona, and it's like, how do you shake that after a while? You know, do you want to be pigeonholed? You know, nah, you don't want to be pigeonholed, but you also you do want, because you do. I mean, listen, I know how it is. It sucks when you do a podcast, you do a YouTube, you know, video, and you go days and nobody's watched it. It sucks, but it's part of the process. It's the beginning, you know. Find your footing, find what works for you, you know, and ride that groove out. You know what I mean? Like I told you, I see this guy on Instagram. He does these like voiceover videos. He has his mouth and he talks. And it's entertaining. You know what I mean? But I remember I saw some earlier videos and he wasn't doing that. He was, you know, but it probably wasn't working out for him. So then he switched to this. This works. So he's gonna keep doing this and keep doing that and keep doing that. You know, get more followers, and that's just how it is, you know. Now, me myself, you know how I feel about social media. It's trash, it's garbage, but you know, hey, you have to dance with the devil. You have to dance with the devil, I guess, to you know, get yourself going. You don't necessarily have to be on all of them. You know, find one that works for you. You know, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. You know, I don't know which one. Twitter. I don't know. But I would definitely just start a YouTube channel or a podcast or write or do something, you know, to get your content out there, you know. And when you do, make sure you have opinions and make sure you know, let people know on the Instagram and all that. Hey, man, you know, redirect people all the time to your stuff, you know, to your website. You know, at the end of the day, make sure you are redirecting people to whatever, and make sure you build an email list. I'm going to buy a truck this month. I'm gonna buy a truck, and I'm gonna start my trucking business. And I'm just gonna tell you the plan. I'm gonna buy the truck. I'm gonna get started, and I'm gonna start making videos about truck driving, about logistics, about this, about that. And I'm gonna build an email list separate from the internet marketing, the copywriting, separate from that. I'm gonna build an email list, and I'm gonna sell informational products as well in the trucking space as I will in the internet space. You know what I mean? And so I'm going to keep you abreast of how that's going. And and the thing that I'm thinking in my mind is, how do I stand out? And one way you can stand out is simple things like logos, simple thing like always wear your stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I know people like I had a cousin. He's like, he was complaining about. He's like, yeah, I've stopped. He said, I stopped wearing so much Nike because I'm just giving them free promotions. I'm like, yeah, that's kind of true, but how do you stand out when you have a business? Make T-shirts, be seen in your stuff, And then people say, what's that? And say, hey, this is my company, this is my business, this is my whatever, It's just little things like that. And the number one thing, though, if you want to make it in the world, is definitely have your own thoughts and have your own opinions. Don't be a parrot for everybody. Don't be a parrot and sound like everybody else. If you ever watch a thing that I hear people all the time now say is unpack. There's a lot of things to unpack. It's just like if you ever watch NFL, which I won't be watching this year, but when I used to watch NFL, one person would say something and then they would just start parakeeting. The last thing I remember people saying was, you got to take the top off the defense. You got to take the top off the defense. You got to take the top off the defense. Everybody was taking the top off the defense after a while. It's sort of like that. It's easy to follow the crowd. It's easy to mix amongst the people. But why do people not go to Applebee's and Chili's and places like that anymore? Because they all sort of are the same. You could throw a rock at Applebee's, Chili's. Well, no, Chili's is a little better than Applebee's, but they're sort of on the same playing field. And they don't do anything to stand out. It's not like, ooh, Applebee's has this, Applebee's has that. The one thing Applebee's has is on Friday nights they have like half off drinks. Do they still have that? I don't know, but they used to have that. So people be like, "Oh, let's go to Applebee's for the half off." But if you go in there, if you blindfold and you go into Chili's, you go to Applebee's, it's sort of the same place. It's sort of like I just heard a guy say this the other day. I was listening to this Dan Kennedy. He was talking about furniture places. He said, they all gonna have a Labor Day sale. Nobody's gonna do anything different. They're gonna be like, hey, Labor Day, we got a sale, 30% off. But he was talking about how he was at a car show and the furniture place had this pop-up event at a car show, and his wife went and spent like $1,000 of like $2,000 or $3,000, and she was like, hey, you're gonna buy $100,000 car, I can buy a $2,000 sofa or whatever. So these people, just think, if you got more people like that are not interested in cars, buying $1,000, $2,000 sofa, you make it out pretty good at the car show. And the furniture place at a car show is very unusual. It's a great way to stand out, and there are plenty of ways that you can stand out. And that was some great advice. And so sometimes when you're sitting around and you're thinking, you just want to start writing stuff down, like, how can I stand out? How can I stand out? And you don't have to be cartoony about it. You don't have to be, an ass about it. You don't have to be any of that. You can stand out. You can stand out and still hold on to your principles. You don't have to become a cartoon character. You don't have to be a caricature. You don't have to be any of that. You don't have to go into the pro wrestling business to make it in the world of marketing. Okay, So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that is it. We'll be back tomorrow with all new episode of Online Marketing Moves. But until then, my name is Tony Rizzano. Thank you for listening. And as always, everybody, peace.